What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Reppin' Enthusiast today. So this is crazy. I bought $40 worth of stuff just to give myself 2 entries for the LBZ giveaway. Now, how crazy would it be, due to the fact that me having issues with my maroon LB7, how crazy would it be if I won the LBZ? It won't happen, but I'm just saying, I still love the Enthusiast hat. Jack, thank you for having some quality stuff, because this hat honestly feels really good. Jack, if by a long shot you end up watching this video, because I am going to tag you on Instagram, I'm actually in Lebanon, so I'm like literally 25 minutes away from you. So if you ever want to do a collab, drop a comment down below or DM me. That way we can communicate. We have met before a couple times. Probably don't remember me, but yeah. Anyway, we are going to get back to working on the Camaro today. I have a lot of stuff that I really want to get done within the next couple of weeks, and I want this thing to be on the freaking road. I know you guys have been following this vehicle for a while, and I want to be able to get it out on the road so you guys can see it. I want all the decals on it so you guys can understand why it's called the Camaro. But before we get into it, check out the freaking intro. Yeah, look at that LB7 smoke, baby. Because it's freaking America Day, that's why. Now, I know what some of you guys might be thinking. Matt, why would you be working on such a giant pile of, lack of better terms, shit? Well, I have a thing for third-gen Camaros. This car was bought as a donor vehicle to pull the motor out of this to put into my 1988, because it restored a 1988, but it was only a 6-cylinder. So the 305 that was in this is going to get pulled to put into the 1988, like I said, which is completely restored. But I don't know, I have like this thing for like looking at wrecked vehicles that nobody would touch with a 10-foot pole and be like, man, I can half-ass fix this with no mechanical background at all and make it into something that could be useful. And honestly, I look at it as a challenge. Is it going to be the prettiest thing? No. Is it going to be the best running thing? I mean, by the time we do a motor swap, I would hope that it would be very good running, but ultimately the main goal of this vehicle is not to be the prettiest vehicle. It obviously was completely foobarred in the front end, so I knew getting into it that stuff wasn't going to mock up right, and I'm not going to take the time to completely restore this car when I have a 1988 that's up in my parents' house that's completely redone. So this vehicle is literally sole purpose is to legitimately just be a drag car, something for me to mess around with, because for $600, man, the 305 and the 700 R4 that are in this are worth $600. So honestly, I think I made out pretty well. I spent $130 to rebuild the front end. Now, is it perfect? No, but we're going to keep working on it today, and you guys will continually start to see it'll look a little bit better. It'll still be a little bit of an eyesore, but it's not going to be that bad to the point where you're like, wow, that is a giant flaming piece of crap going down the road. It's going to be cool, it's going to be different, and it's going to be something that, honestly, for me building in my garage, I think it'll be worth it for not spending more than $1,000 in total in the whole process. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys to death, but I know it drives some of you guys nuts seeing my tools just kind of laying around. Now, I threw everything into this bag here because I went to the junkyard, but we're going to utilize these 2 cabinets, and I'm going to honestly make like a little workbench back here, but I'm not going to bore you guys so you guys can watch that, so stay tuned because it's going to look good now. Special thanks to my lovely wife. Everything is kind of somewhat organized. We're kind of doing some last finishing up. Everything's in drawers. All of my tools are back where they're supposed to be. It actually looks like I've got a little bit of room to do things now. All my different paints and plasti dips and everything. The quick releases for the Camaro. Everything is here. Obviously, you guys can see that coolant leak. But thank you, honey, for going through and helping organize everything. I won't. No promises. Alright, so now that that is all done, one of my primary goals for today, like obviously you can see the T-top headliner is just kind of all over the place. So today I'm going to try to continue to gut some of the interior out, whether or not I get to the door panels, that time pending. Basically, our daughter is taking a nap right now, but I'm going to try to disassemble everything that I can. I'm just going to throw you guys on a time lapse in the time being. So pretty gross, but this was all inside the T-top. But everything's off. I'm just gonna shred this, pull this out, rather than disassembling the whole seatbelt assembly. And then the biggest thing that we got to worry about is this light back here, which I'm just going to disconnect this, and then that plastic piece can come out. All right, so as you guys can see, all the plastic is off up the top here. This is just going to get put back up. Obviously, we're going to need the third brake light. Not that we necessarily do, but if I do plan on driving this on the street, I will need the third brake light. So that's just going to get probably zip tied or pushed back up into place. You can see one of the clips is still on right now. I do need to get a special tool to get that plastic piece out, and then I can pull that out, get the back seats out, get the carpet out, and this thing will be completely gutted in the rear. Now, as for the front of this car, I think I'm going to keep 2 seats in the car just for the time being, in case anybody wants to ride with me. You know, it's just convenient because, yes, this is going to be a drag car, and no, nobody's ever going to really sit in the back, so I don't mind having the back completely gutted, but I will most likely keep the carpet and the 2 seats that are up here. Door panels are going to go. I'm just honestly, like, even with like the sheet of aluminum that I have over here, I'll probably make my own like little door panels, honestly, for along the side of the doors. And these doors are huge, so I'm going to need a lot bigger piece than what I have there. I mean, so you guys can see, those of you guys that aren't familiar with third gens, the doors are freaking massive on these things. So ultimately, I will probably end up putting my own like little aluminum door, just, you know, lack of better terms, weight reduction. Is it going to be a big weight difference? No, but I do plan on using those door panels in my 1988, whether we put them on primarily or we keep them as spares. Next on the list, we're just going to take a gander real quick underneath here, and I'm going to shine a flashlight. Big thing that I did, like, completely forget that I did when I put this hood on. These bolts up top here honestly aren't in right, which probably has a lot to do with the fact that it kind of sits kind of weird, and obviously the adjustment needs to be made. But that coolant leak that we have, obviously here's our coolant reservoir. I think I showed this in one of my previous third gen videos. I mean, it's dry, it's nasty looking. I really want to just kind of tear this out and see what I'm looking like underneath there. And like I said, I feel like with where the accident was, which was actually right underneath here, I feel like maybe the radiator got pushed back, a hose is messed up or something along those lines. So we're going to try to figure it out. So it's going to be kind of hard to see, but down at the bottom there, you can see where there's like a screw missing off of the reservoir itself. There's one screw there, and then there's also a screw underneath here, which is mounted right up top, up over here. I'm going to disconnect this, and then the coolant tank should come out. Just disconnect this hose right up there, and then the thing should pop right out, and then hopefully we can get this thing cleaned out. Not necessarily today, but then we can start figuring out where our leak is coming from. So I apologize that you guys are going to be a little bit far away. Now, like I said, this is still probably going to make a mess, so I'm actually going to hook that back up real quick, throw in my other glove. I'm going to put the cap back on the coolant reservoir. There is a little bit in there, honestly. I'm just going to end up dumping it, most likely into some type of container. Actually, I think I have an oil pan out here. I do. I'm going to dump the coolant right inside there. Slide this off. Kind of let this piss out a little bit. It's kind of frustrating because I did just put coolant in here literally the other week. Just because I did see that the coolant was really low. I didn't realize that there was a leak at that point in time. Take the cap off for a little bit better airflow. Now, I didn't disconnect the hose down at the bottom where it's like, I'll show you guys here in a second, where it's kind of like a one-time use clamp. I did disconnect it from the top directly up at the radiator. And then the bolt that was down on the underside, what I like to do, and it's just kind of common practice, I'm going to end up using this reservoir again. So I'm going to put the nut back on top of here. I'm going to tighten it back down just a little bit, just enough to make sure it doesn't go missing. So then we can reuse this, because from what I can see with this reservoir, it's just dirty. It's not that it's not usable. It does need a little bit of a clean out. So obviously our leak is from someplace else, most likely the radiator or some other type of hose. Now the really crappy thing is, like, other than this right inside there that's wet, I'm not really seeing anywhere else that's really wet with coolant. Now granted, it hasn't been, really had a whole lot of coolant in it. So what eventually we're going to do is we're going to try to figure this out. Not today. Probably going to reservice the whole motor. But man, this is frustrating not knowing where this coolant is from. But since this is out, I'm going to clean up this area over here. Clean up the whole inside of the engine bay. Definitely clean out that. What I was talking about here was this one-time use clip. And then putting the bolt back on here. You guys, like I said, you can see how dirty and cruddy this is on the inside. So we're going to get this all cleaned up and eventually get it back in the car. Hopefully we get the car running within the next week or so, and then I can go and get tires for the driver's side. Scratch that last comment. It's the freaking passenger side. It's the side that I'm on. So I need 2 tires for the passenger side. And then hopefully once that coolant leak is all done, we do an oil change, we service everything. Check out the carburetor, see if the carb needs cleaned or anything like that. Clean out the air filter, get a new air filter, and just kind of go through and make sure everything is good fluid-wise. We could potentially get this thing back on the road with the 305 completely refreshed before we swap it into the 88. As always, guys, I hope you enjoyed another episode of working on the Project $600 Camaro that we did buy wrecked last spring. It's going to be a continual project, honestly, and there's a lot of work to be done between the motor and, just making sure everything is okay, fixing up the front end a little bit. Now, obviously, we did kind of fix the side over here yesterday and then also did it on the other side. Like I said, this vehicle is not meant to look pretty, but ultimately I want it to be roadworthy to the point where I can take it to a drag strip and not have to worry about really any major flaws. So if this was your first time watching a video on the channel, I hope you give this video a big thumbs up. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button down below. There will be more 3rd gen Camaro content. Also, my wife's Jeep, which is hidden on the other side of Caleb's Murano. My wife's 4-door Wrangler, and then of course the limp dick Duramax over here. Now, obviously, there's a lot going on with the Duramax. It still doesn't have a grill replaced on it. It's from where I smashed a deer. The blow-by is bad, and the tranny's slipping. So, lots of big things coming that need to come with this. Once again, thank you, Jack, for giving me the opportunity and giving everybody the opportunity to buy some merchandise for your channel. Any way that we can support you guys is amazing. Eventually, someday, I hope to have my own brand. Now, I do have, like, my own shirts for personal use, but other than that, eventually we will get to that point, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed the 3rd gen Camaro progress today. Till the next time, guys, I'll see you.